Today on The Big Story, a new smart helmet and a new safety training course for Grab's food delivery riders. How did Team Singapore fare at the SEA Games? Some squads have come under fire for poor performance. And a $160,000 banana, we talk art or not. It's Wednesday and you're watching The Big Story, where we'll discuss the top news of today and explain why it matters. I'm Dylan Ang, coming to you live from the Straits Times newsroom. First up, Grab has unveiled a new safety training course for its food delivery riders. This comes on the back of the recent e-scooter ban on footpaths. Grab's training course, called Safe Riding on Pedal and Power-Assisted Bicycles, is part of the Delivery Rider Kit program launched by NTUC and its partners. The course will educate Grab riders on traffic rules, safety checks and maintenance of vehicles, as well as navigation on and off-road. Grab food delivery riders who complete the course will also get a smart helmet for enhanced safety. With us now in the studio is journalist Wong Kai Yi to tell us more. Hey Kai Yi.
Hey Dylan.
Kai Yi, welcome to the studio. Welcome to the show. Now tell us about this course. Who can sign up?
So Dylan, basically what's called the Delivery Rider Kit. It's being made available actually to all riders who have been affected by the PMD ban. So those basically moving from e-scooters and those who have opted to make the change from e-scooters to bicycles and e-bicycles, they are eligible for this course. Even though Grab is in the picture, actually NTUC, who is helming the entire program, is opening up this course to all delivery riders. So anyone from Deliveroo, from Grab Food, and from all the other companies as well, they're all eligible to join this course. So basically the rider kit, so Grab's initiative is just one module out of the 5 in the Delivery Rider Kit. So basically there are modules preparing riders for changing work environment, raising the awareness of current and emerging technology, teaching riders how to engage customers in a positive way, teaching practical skills, rules and codes of conduct while riding on roads, and basically, and the last one, is first aid skills in handling incidents. So out of the 5 modules, seems quite comprehensive. Seems that it cover a wide swathe of topics for riders riding on the roads, and I'm sure for some of these riders, it will be the first time riding on roads next to cars. It's going to be, it'll be quite daunting, I reckon.
Right, yeah.
So I think these courses, these 5 modules, really do help them sort of prepare themselves. Prepare themselves for the dangers on the road and to keep them safe while they ride and deliver food for the rest of us.
Right. Now, speaking of modules, let's take a closer look at the smart helmet that Grab food delivery riders who complete the Safe Riding on Pedal and Power-Assisted Bicycles course will receive.
Ewan, I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of Lumos, and this is the special Grab Lumos helmet that we developed specifically for Grab, for the food delivery riders. So it looks like a normal helmet by day, but when you turn it on, you find your lights with you. So bright red lights at the back, bright white lights in the front. You can change the different flashing modes. It's all about visibility and safety. Because it's on your head, it's naturally high, and so it's really conspicuous, so the driver can always see you. There's an app on the phone, and when you pull it up on your phone, you can use it to activate turn signals. So left and right turn signals you can see from the back, as well as on the front, and change different settings so you can see the battery life of the helmet, and all of these things that about your products. So we're really excited to be starting this at Grab. Hopefully the riders will love it too, and we'll keep them safe.
Now, Kai, we got a sense of how the helmet works, but how does this help with safety?
Right. So I had a little bit of time with the helmet. So just to background the helmet and who it was made by. So Lumos, so Ewan Ding he's the CEO and co-founder of Lumos, and the company created this smart helmet. So basically it's a helmet with very bright LEDs both on the front and on the back. The front LEDs are white and the rear ones are red. And flanking the red LEDs on the rear are two orange triangles, if you will. So basically, this helmet connects to the user's smartphone via Bluetooth. Or an optional remote control. So the thing is that, you know, on the road sometimes cyclists may not be very visible to motorists. So the helmet with all its bright LEDs makes basically the rider very much more visible to motorists. And through the smartphone app and through the remote control, the rider actually can signal which direction he's going in. So if he wants to signal left, he just sort of press left on the either on the app or on the remote control, and then the orange blinker on the rear will start blinking. And I think that was really cool. Like I've never seen a helmet like that. I mean, similar helmets, you know, they have built-in headlights. We've all seen helmets with built-in headlights, but those that can signal the rider's intention, I think that's a rarity, and that's something really quite cool. And it's also long-lasting. The helmet lasts for about 6 to 8 hours on the intermittent blinking mode, and I think it's about 3 hours if the lights are solid. So if it's just on the whole time. Well, I think it's a really good thing. Helps a lot with safety. I think the key thing of the matter is that it makes the rider much more visible to motorists, and it sort of staves off any potential incidents. Keeps the cars away from them. Tells them there's a rider riding on the side of the road, and
signals their intention.
Exactly, signals their intention.
Yeah. Well, okay, on a final note, do you think that the Delivery Rider Kit, as a whole, is a welcome initiative? I mean, how has the response been like?
I spoke to some of the riders on the ground. They all seem very excited by it. I think partly, the helmet is a welcome addition to their kit. Some of the riders already have these lightweight sort of jumpers that they wear to either keep them warm or keep them cool. So they're made of a dry fit material. So the helmet is a natural addition to this kit. And generally, I think it's a very good response overall. We were at Yio Chu Kang earlier today, and I think we saw about slightly over 250 riders collecting the helmets, and I spoke to some of them, and they were really excited. They were quite keen on getting on board with this new safety initiative because, like I said earlier, I think a lot of them have not been on the roads riding next to cars, and that's why they wrote PMDs in the first place on pavements. But going forward, I think equipping them with these skills on the road, telling them what to look out for, basically trying to put them in the minds of drivers on the road and trying to preempt them, preempt their moves. I think that's a really good initiative, and definitely a good big tick for safety.
Right. Well, thank you, Kai, for coming on the show and for sharing more about this issue. Of course, if you'd like to see more, do head on to our website, straitstimes.com. Moving on to our second story, it's a wrap for the 2019 SEA Games in the Philippines, with the closing ceremony taking place this evening at New Clark Athletic Stadium. Now, how did Team Singapore fare at the Games? Here are the highlights. Team Singapore's largest ever athlete contingent of 659 athletes from 48 sports went through 15 days of intense competition. The medal haul: 53 gold, 46 silver and 68 bronze medals, as well as 15 games records. 51 out of the 167 medals were achieved by SEA Games debutants. Swimming remains the nation's top performing sport with 23 gold medals. In fencing, Singapore emerged as the top Southeast Asian nation, with all teams in foil, sabre and épée securing at least a medal. Kwar Tseng Wen is the most bemedaled male athlete of the Games, with 6 gold and 2 silver medals. However, the athletics and football squads have come under fire for their dismal performance. With us live from the SEA Games in the Philippines is Assistant Sports Editor Loh Lin Feng. Hey Lin Feng. So hi Lin Feng, now you've been in the Philippines covering the SEA Games. Did Team Singapore get the medal total that is set out to achieve?
Actually, the medal target wasn't really made public to the media or to the rest of Singaporeans. But if you look at how many medals they achieved this time, it was 53. If you compare to our best ever haul, which was 84, that was the SEA Games 2015 in Singapore. KL in 2017 was actually our best away haul, which was about 57. So We were not too far, I think, from our best away haul, so it was good performance from Team Singapore. What's interesting to note also, is how well some of these teams did because, for traditional sports, there were a number of sports that had their events reduced. So it was more challenging for them also to win medals because they were strong in certain events or categories, but these were not offered at the SEA Games in the Philippines.
Right. Now, Lin Feng, on that note, which sports stood out for you?
I think it was definitely swimming because swimming had the best away haul of 23 gold medals. So this accounted for 46% of Singapore's gold medals. There were 9 national records, 16 SEA Games records, and 3 Olympic qualifiers. So in 2015, there were 23 gold medals. So what was interesting also was the breadth and depth of the swimmers who achieved gold medals, individual gold medals. So in 2015, they had 23 gold medals, but it was won by two male swimmers and 2 female swimmers. This time it was 6 and 6, so 6 women and 6 men. So obviously, the team has grown in terms of talent and potential.
Right. Now,
Yeah,
Lin Feng,
and
we
then-
talked about all the very encouraging news, but what about the sports that didn't do as well? What are some of the disappointments?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest ones was athletics because in 2017 they won 2 gold medals. This was in the men's marathon and women's high jump. So this time there were 3 bronze medals, 2 from Shanti Pereira, the sprinter, and 1 from Eastern in the hurdles. There were no national records, no personal bests. The relays all finished last, so there were 3 relays that finished last. It's from 2 gold medals to 0. That was really, really disappointing for I think the athletics team and the fraternity. So there were reports of infighting, within the sport, coaches, parents. So it was quite disappointing to hear that coming from athletics.
I see. Now, of course, we must note that the first-timers, there were quite a few first-timers that did Singapore proud. Tell us about the athletes and sports that made their debut this year.
Yeah, so there were actually 7 new sports that debuted at the SEA Games. The ones that I thought did really well were underwater hockey. So, they caught everyone by surprise because they won 4 gold medals. All the medals on offer. They swept all the medals. And there was also a player called Christina Tam. She was 50 years old. She competed in the 1981 SEA Games as a 12-year-old as a swimmer. And she didn't win. She won a silver medal in the relay, and then she came back 38 years later and won her first gold. So that was an amazing story.
Yeah.
There was also Sambo, a former fencer called Nasri Sutari, who actually missed out on the national team when he was doing his NS. So he came back, switched to Sambo, and then won himself a gold medal.
Right.
Also,
No, yeah.
Please go ahead.
Sorry for cutting you off. You can carry on.
Yeah. Wait, there were also some swimmers. So we had some debutants in the swim team. So really notable performances from them. There was Darren Chua, who famously beat Joseph Schooling in the 100-meter free. So he won the individual gold medal on his debut and added another one in the 200-meter free. There was Jonathan Tan, who beat his older teammate, Jong Zhen Wei, in the 50-meter freestyle.
Right.
And Elena Pedersen, who is about 15 or 16, who won the 50 meters backstroke, the women's. And she actually beat Vietnam's swim queen, Tian Bien, who actually is the MVP for the SEA Games. So she beat her in the event, and it says a lot about our debutants as well.
I see. Now, Lin Feng, on a final note, your thoughts on how Team Singapore is looking going into next year's Tokyo Olympics?
I think it's going to be interesting Olympics because we have Joseph Schooling, who's he's met the mark and he's trying to put in good times to get back in shape and fitness as well. Hua Cheng-Wen, who has 2 Olympic qualifiers, also working very hard. In fact, they've all gone off to training camps in the US right after the SEA Games. And then outside of the SEA Games, we actually had 2 sailors, Kimberly Lim and Cecilia Low, who actually qualified Singapore for the 49er FX, one of the sailing classes in the Olympics. But I think the interesting one would be table tennis because they didn't do so well at these SEA Games. They won 2 gold medals out of 4. The men's doubles, I think they struggled. Men's and women's doubles, so they struggled a bit. So I think it'll be interesting to see how they fare, given that Tian Wei, our top paddler, and Yu Mengyu, the other female paddler, they were both injured this time. So the injuries will be a concern for the team.
Right. Well, thank you, Lin Feng, for giving us a quick wrap of how Team Singapore performed at the 2019 SEA Games. And once again, congratulations to all our athletes for their hard work. To read Lian Feng's full SEA Games report card, do head on over to our website, straitstimes.com. And now let's move on to What's Trending, where Kim will share with us what's buzzing in the internetverse. Over to you, Kim.
Thanks, Dylan. It's time for What's Trending. First up, Kung Fu enforcement for e-scooters. Too much, perhaps? An active mobility enforcement officer kicked an e-scooter rider on the road as he was speeding towards a traffic junction. Here's a closer look. This martial arts movie-esque clip was captured by a vehicle dashcam and posted on Facebook page SG Road Vigilante. The Land Transport Authority has said it is looking into the incident. Was it an excessive use of force? Where do you stand on this? Let us know in the comments. Next, a massive blaze broke out in Tuas this morning. Firefighters battled with the fire for 4 hours, with the SCDF deploying more than 32 emergency vehicles and 130 firefighters to put it out. The fire was said to be spreading along the drains, and an unmanned aerial vehicle was even flown over the area to monitor the situation from the air. The cause of the fire is still being investigated, but no injuries have been reported so far by the SCDF. Thank you for your service, guys. And finally, controversy over the choice of literature texts for school. Novel The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime has come under the spotlight. Netizens on Facebook page Singaporeans Defending Marriage and Family slammed the book for containing vulgarities. In response to Storm's query, Director of English Language and Literature at MOE, Mr. Jeffrey Lowe, said, "The reading of this particular text has been closely guided by the teacher through class discussions, where the teacher sets out the context of the piece of writing and engages students on drawing positive lessons from the book." That's all we have for What's Trending today. If you've seen a story you want to share, link it in the comment section below. Back to you, Dylan.
Thanks, Kim. Now, would you shell out 160,000 Singapore dollars for a banana taped to a wall at an art exhibition? Well, somebody did, and it got eaten too. Making its rounds on news headlines and social media buzz, Italian artist Maurizio Catalan's comedian featured a banana taped to a wall at the annual Art Basel in Miami. To top things off, a video of a man removing the banana and eating it has gone viral, and it has spawned countless memes, mostly featuring random things taped to the wall, or in actress Brooke Shields' case, taping a banana on her face. Not losing out on the action, in Singapore, many have chimed in with local flavoured memes featuring a durian, a defibrillator, and even a traffic cone. So, is the banana art or not? What is the line between conceptual art and nonsense? Here to help us make sense of this slippery business is senior culture correspondent Ong Sofen. Hey, Sofen.
Hello.
Now, Sofen, welcome. That banana, art or not?
Well, that banana is not just a banana, it's banana and duct tape. So that's the artwork, banana and duct tape. So comedian is actually part of this conceptual art movement, and that became a very big thing in the art world in the 1960s and 70s. And the idea for concept art is actually, the idea is the art, not the object itself. So this explains why a perishable fruit duct taped to a wall can command a price tag of US $120,000. This is also in an edition of 3, so that means 3 bananas have sold for nearly $500,000 Singapore dollars. And there's also 2 artist proof which have not been sold. Yeah.
So, this artist, Maurizio Catalan, who's responsible for comedian, who is he and what does he stand for?
Well, he's an Italian artist. He's 59 years old and he's sort of semi-retired. And this is not the first time that he's grabbed social media attention. In 2016, he actually installed this 18-karat gold-plated, fully functional toilet in the Guggenheim Museum.
Right.
So, of course, there were long queues of people. You could actually use it. So there were long queues of people waiting to use this 18-karat gold toilet. And it actually got stolen in September. It got moved to the Blenheim Palace and then it got stolen. So he made the headlines again. Yeah, and I actually think that a much stronger work that he did is this sculpture of a hand that he put in Milan in front of the stock exchange. So the hand has all the fingers except for the middle one cut off. So he's literally giving the middle finger to rich people because it's in front of the stock exchange. So for that work, at least the concept is stronger. It's got political, economic subtext to it because of where it is and what it looks like.
Now, Sophan, social media has definitely played a big part in blowing this wide open, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. The work is a social media darling because it's so photographable, and it also lets people feel like they're smarter than the people who coughed up so much money for fruit duct tape to a wall. Yeah, and I think for print media especially, it's very easy to like blare out the headline because, oh, it's a banana and it's sold for so much money. Yeah.
Now, on a final note, what do you think of this, whole banana brouhaha?
I think concept art is only as strong as the concept itself, and for this, I don't think it's strong at all. Like I said, his previous work has got a stronger concept. And I also think that even worse is the performer who ate the thing. I'm not naming him because I think he's just a cheap carpetbagger who just kind of like rode on the coattails of this headline grabbing work. Yeah, and I think it also the whole social media circus also cheapens the whole art going experience because people just think about it in soundbite friendly terms, and once concept art descends into social media things, I think it's a gimmick, it's no longer art, and it's just for the clicks.
Well said. Well, thank you, Sophan, for coming on the show. And of course, we are aware that we too, in discussing this, are complicit in giving that banana some publicity, but at least, we were not eating it all up. Now, there you have it, the top stories for today. For more news and videos, visit straitstimes.com. And once again, I'm Dylan. Join us tomorrow for more stories on The Big Story.